Hello, all my story nights out there. Today I have basically a quick little recap review for this True Believers Ant-Man and Wasp Till Death Do Us Part. This is a reprint. Well, the book, the True Believers, just came out today or this week, so pretty new. But this is a reprint of a older story from the. I didn't say on the copyright page, but I believe it's from the mid-70s. It looks like it from anyway. So this is basically the conclusion to a storyline where Goliath, who was Ant-Man, Hank Pym, he goes by so many different identities over the years. He was being Goliath at this point in time, and he supposedly disappeared, went missing, and then this guy pops up called Yellow Jacket, the first incarnation of Yellow Jacket, who most people would know from the Ant-Man movies, the villain. So this Yellow Jacket guy pops up, and he starts making trouble with the Avengers, and really rubs Hawkeye especially the wrong way. And basically, there's a moment where him and Janet, the Wasp, are having a private conversation, and she realizes something about him or whatever, and then all of a sudden she wants to marry him, and then they're having a wedding. And it's like one of those weird things where it's like, what? Like, it's a pretty obvious answer when you get to the story, but I remember reading this story years ago. My brother's collection, he used to have all the parts to it, and so what ends up happening is, they have this big fancy wedding ceremony. Like you see here, the first page is the invitation, the wedding invitation. It's kind of funny because the wedding invitation has Yellow Jacket wearing a mask. Like, how often do you see a wedding invitation where the groom's got a mask? But basically, they end up going to the wedding. Captain America's trying to figure out what's going on. Hawkeye is just being really like prejudiced and bitter. I mean, he has every right to. This random stranger comes in talking about how he killed Goliath. Yeah, I didn't even get to that. Yellow Jacket basically claims that he took Goliath and shrunk him down and left him to die or whatever, and basically stealing his girl. So it's just this really wacky storyline. And there is so much bad dialogue in this issue, so much like really dated 70s slang, and just nicknames. I've noticed that about older comics. They love their nicknames. Like, I think, let's see, like Hawkeye, for example, gets so many nicknames. He gets called Straight Arrow, he gets called William Tell, he gets called Robin Hood, he gets called a few different things in this issue. Also, random gripe is my issue. My copy has I don't know if you can see it, but my copy has a random hole inside of the page. I bought this right off the store, and then just right off the shelf, and it has a hole in it. I was kind of disappointed by that, but whatever. It's only $1 a book. Who cares? So we end up having like the wedding ceremony or whatever, and Jarvis is over here talking to the caterers, and all of a sudden the caterers, you realize they're Circus of Crime, which are old school villains. They're basically a circus full of criminals. They all have different unique skill sets and whatnot. But this is a fun issue. I mean, even though the dialogue is really corny and the reveal is kind of obvious, it's a fun issue just because of all the characters that pop up. You have Crystal, who was the Human Torch's girlfriend at the time. She's over here like watching the door, so the groom can't go spy on Janet or whatever. And Invisible Girl is doing her dress. She's doing the wedding gown. We see here a nice big panel of all these heroes that are there. The X-Men are over there chilling in their own corner. They're just kind of messed up when you think about it. You got Doctor Strange's over there. The Thing is sitting there chilling with Human Torch messing with him on the side. Black Knight's even in here. But what's funny about this panel with the whole team, with everybody there, is that they even have an editor's note where Stan Lee, Stan Lee or Roy Thomas, one of the two, they point out that the drink everybody is drinking is non-alcoholic. Like, it was such a big deal to make sure that the superheroes weren't kids, and I guess parents didn't think they were drinking alcoholic beverages back in the 70s. I mean, I just thought it was kind of funny. It's a wedding, people. They can drink if they want to. They're kind of off duty, But so what ends up happening is Hawkeye, he gets all mad, and he walks out into the kitchen area, realizes he stumbles onto the Circus of Crime, realizes what they're doing, that they're trying to disrupt the wedding, fights him, but he gets captured. And then we have this really silly scene where Black Knight is trying to basically give Wasp his sword, cut the cake, and I thought it was kind of cool, but I thought it was kind of corny at the same time. And then a giant python comes out and attacks Wasp, which is the cover of the issue. And we get some pretty cool fighting. You know, it's classic 70s fighting where the superhero, or 80s fight. I think it's a 1970s book though. And we get classic, you know, 70s fighting where Black Panther is like talking about, you know, he's like, when you think of speed, you must not forget to include my name, the name of the Black Panther. You know, like just this silly dialogue that all the characters have, you know, while they're fighting. And one thing that kind of annoys me though is that we see that there are several superheroes here. We see Daredevil's here, Doctor Strange is here, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men. But then once the fighting actually begins, the only characters they show, they might be there, but the only characters they actually show during combat are the Avengers, which is, you know, this is an Avengers story, I believe, originally. But I mean, you see Daredevil here in one panel after the fight's over, but it's like, where were you at during the fight, guy? And that kind of bothered me. Like, all these heroes here could easily take down the crime circus. I mean, they are easily taken down in the end, but it could have been even faster if Doctor Strange would have just been like, shoom, or, you know, if the X-Men would have came in and started helping. But, you know, so it ends up ending with, you know, Yellow Jacket's getting all scared. He starts talking about how she can't die, she can't. You know, something's happening. Well, you know, he starts having this like interpersonal attack with himself, and he turns into Goliath. You know, like he pops out of the costume, and you realize he is Goliath. Dun 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 dun. You know, like everybody, I saw that coming way back in the day when I was a kid, and I'm pretty sure people saw it coming when they originally read this story. So there's some more fighting. Hawkeye escapes in a pretty cool way. Actually, I thought it was kind of cool. He uses the arrow. Like, he uses the acid in one of his arrowheads to break out of his bounds. And then all the criminals get captured. You know, when the police come in, it's kind of a silly panel where the police are just, like, taking all the criminals. They're probably like, God dang it, these superheroes can't even have a wedding without causing us some trouble. And we get, like, a quick little... It's really weird, but we get a really quick little reason why Goliath did all this. So... The explanation we get is that Goliath was working on a serum, or Hank Pym was working on a serum, or something. He was working on something, and it broke, and he got inside of him. Like the chemicals, like, you know, he sniffed him or whatever, and they gave him a temporarily accidentally induced schizophrenia, which is basically like multiple personality disorder, I believe, is what they're trying to go for. So he literally goes crazy because of a chemical that he inhaled for a short amount of time. And I just thought that was kind of a crazy way to do it, like, because, you know, it's crazy, right? And so what the chemical does is it basically like changes his entire personality, makes him like more aggressive and everything. Because apparently Wasp wanted to marry him, but he didn't want to marry her at the time. Like, he just didn't want to do it. But then because he's got his personality shift, he decides, he's like, if Goliath won't marry, you know, Wasp, then I will. Yellow Jacket. So he creates this like subconscious secondary personality just to do that, which is kind of weird. But and I love how they just kind of like gloss over the fact that he went crazy. Like, they don't show him going to get any medical help. They don't show him taking some therapy or anything after that. I think it does linger for a little while, because that's one of Hank Pym's character traits, is that he has kind of an identity crisis all the time. Like, he never really knows who he wants to be. He's always changing his superhero personality, superhero personas. That's one of the kind of cool things about his character. He's like, always kind of has an identity crisis within himself. Like, he's always having a midlife crisis. But yeah, that's basically the Ant-Man Wasp till death do us part. I just want to talk about this real quick because it is kind of a classic comic book story. I don't know if it's classic in a good way, but it is classic. It's something kind of iconic, because Yellow Jacket is kind of an iconic character. And I remember reading this when I was a kid, so when I saw this in the comic book shop, it was cool to just pick up a newer copy of it. And yeah, so that's all I got for you guys today. I just want to do that quick little video. And as always, thank you for everything you do, for watching my videos, and see you guys later.